Welcome in to the PHNX Suns pregame show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsey, that's Saul, that's Espo. Gentlemen, it's a change of scenery for us today.
It feels pretty good to be in the Ainsworth.
It's a field trip. I like it. Yeah. It's the first one we've done. I know other shows have gone live elsewhere, but this is our first venture outside of the studio or the home studio, so it's nice.
Yeah.
I feel like an 80s radio jock right now. I'm not
I mean,
even
you
gonna lie.
look like an 80s radio jock. Either that or like a 70s flower child.
I was trying to fit the vibe. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Coming to you live from the Ainsworth.
Jams. I don't know. What did people do back then? I wasn't alive.
Smooth jazz in the 70s?
Jams.
Smooth jams?
Isn't that a thing?
Could be
sure, but you don't look like that. You look like, Woodstock.
Okay, what would I say then? I wasn't alive at that point in time.
Hey,
What would they say?
you got some heroin in your tent?
Hold on. That's just like a euphemism.
Is that what they had?
You got some
That's not Woodstock. That when everybody drugged up and
got some heroin in your tent.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't that.
Woodstock?
Yeah.
Oh, it was an absolute
Wasn't
naked
it like
free-for-all.
acid, though?
Oh, yeah, acid. Okay, acid. All right, my bad.
I feel like
said
there's
heroin.
a difference.
I meant acid. My fault.
Jeez, I went dark really fast.
What other Suns pregame show are you getting this kind of analysis? What drugs were used at Woodstock?
Lord, have mercy.
We're scaring people at the
Speaking of
Ainsworth.
things that probably make you feel good, Devin Booker's back.
That's very true. Tonight, the Phoenix Suns are taking on the Miami Heat. They're wrapping up their road trip. And they actually have Devin back in the lineup. He is available tonight. Our guy, Flex from Jersey, had it yesterday that Devin has cleared health and safety protocols. And he said he would be surprised if Devin didn't play today. Well, the news came finally officially from the team itself. Devin is in Miami, and he is going to play tonight.
You know, I love the people that were like, oh, no, Devin won't fly cross-country for this. It's like, he flew a private jet. He got there last night, I guarantee it. This is not like he was flying Economy Plus to get to Miami today.
We literally talked about this
last
night.
Yeah.
Who Devin?
Yeah.
Was in Miami last night?
I'm guessing he flew out yesterday.
100%.
Probably.
The minute that they found out he cleared health and safety protocols, they gassed up the jet and sent him out to Miami to go hang out on a boat for a few hours.
For sure. And there was somebody in the chat yesterday, you're lucky I can't remember your name, but they deleted their comment because they said they would buy me a jersey if Devin Booker played tonight. And he's playing tonight.
That was
who you are.
That was Tizdu.
That was Tizdu. Yeah, Tizdu. Come back in the chat. I see you.
Hey, you be nice to Tizdu. He's been a supporter from day one.
He has, and you can support me with a jersey because that's what you said.
You'll get your Landry Shamet jersey.
Hey, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's who's a hated son.
Robert Ory.
I don't care if it's that. I'll still wear it.
Oh,
would you?
That's
yeah,
it. I'm getting you a Robert Ory jersey.
Yeah, because who has that?
Oh, I can find one.
Original.
Don't test me. I can find one.
All right, well, it's the Miami Heat and the Suns tonight. I feel like this is going to be a pretty good game. The last time these two teams faced off, the Suns fell, unfortunately, to the Heat, but you know that they like to keep a grudge. So tonight, I'm sure another big reason why Devin wanted to play tonight, to get a little bit of revenge on this team, because this is a matchup that a lot of people are saying could potentially be a finals matchup. The Miami Heat, the Phoenix Suns, they're two top dogs in this league right now. The Suns are going to want to get a W over them here in the regular season.
Yeah, they got their asses whooped last time.
I think it was 100 to 123.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even that close. I mean, the Miami Heat absolutely torched the Suns in the second half, pulled away by a mile, and it was like everything the Suns tried to do wouldn't work. And so this time around, you just know that this team is going to try and correct some of those problems. They understand that you can't just let these guys shoot all game long because they're good shooters, like especially Tyler Hero. And that's what happened the first time around. This time around, they'll shore that up, force Miami to go inside. No Jimmy Butler, but we don't have Chris Paul. Let's see who the best team is.
Look, as long as Devin Booker doesn't try to come out and force the agenda, try to prove, I'm back. He's got to work himself into the game. Let the offense come to him, and not do what Devin has done at points in his career, where he tries to force himself into it. Otherwise, I think this is going to be a very close game. I like this matchup. You knew that Devin wasn't going to wasn't going to be out if he got out of health and safety protocols, because there's a point to be made here, because this will be the last time you face Miami unless you both make it to the finals, and he wants to make a point. So if they do meet in the finals, it's not, the Miami Heat are so much better than the Suns, which the national media would be going with that if they got blown out tonight and then they faced in the finals again. Devin was coming back, and I think they're going to play well tonight.
The great thing about this is we have now seen every single team, and Miami's probably the only team where I felt like, man, we weren't even close to that. But I do feel like they'll correct that tonight, and at least give me a semblance of, like, if we did have to face them in the finals, how it would go, or at least how we match up with them. But I mean, the more and more I think about it, I really, really feel good about the Suns' chances this year. And I know it sounds weird, but Miami's the one team left that I'm like, okay, let's see how we fare against Miami and prove that we can beat every single team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. Miami's not getting out of the first round.
Oh,
because
that's your prediction right now?
There's a very good chance that they're going to have to face Brooklyn. And if Brooklyn has Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving, the Heat are done.
Yeah.
The Heat are not going to make it out of that matchup. And that's part of what makes this play-in thing so interesting, because, Brooklyn struggled mightily, but we know if they're at full strength, they're one of the best in the NBA.
That's what everybody keeps saying about Brooklyn, though. They're never at full strength.
I think they will become playoff time.
Once Kyrie comes back, KD gets hurt. Ben Simmons, God, you can't rely on Ben Simmons right now, and I think people need to start thinking about, okay, the Nets without Ben Simmons in the playoffs, because until Ben Simmons comes back, you can't predict what's going on with that. We talked about this several weeks ago. Mental health is not something to mess around with, and it's going to take it's taken a lot of time for him to try and come back, and he still might not be coming back for another month. So what makes us think that even if he does come back, he's going to be at a level to just run into the playoffs and be that dude?
I'm just not a Miami believer. So
that's fine.
That's a big part of what I'm thinking.
But I'm not
if they get an unfavorable first round matchup, I just don't think they're coming out.
But I'm not going to believe in the Nets just to spite Miami.
That's fair, but anytime you got Kevin Durant, that's
sure.
That can shift an entire first round series.
It can, absolutely.
No doubt.
All right, so a lot of people in the chat are already asking about an injury report for tonight's game, so let's go ahead and get into that and give you a look at what's to come. So on the Miami side of things, Jimmy Butler is out. It's official. He is not going to play tonight. He's got a really bad sinus infection. Markieff Morris is also out, and then Caleb Martin is questionable as of the last time we checked. For the Suns, it's Chris Paul and Cam Johnson who are out, in addition to, of course, Dario and Frank. So that's kind of where we are as far as who is playing tonight and who is not playing. However, we do have a few updates as far as injuries go. James Jones was on Burns and Gambo earlier today, and he said that Frank Kaminsky is surgically cleared to play. He is now currently working on getting in game shape, and that James would be surprised if we didn't see Frank back in action before the end of the regular season. That's big news.
Just in time for warmer weather. The Cove's going to be open, baby.
And another 30 piece and an Espo tattoo.
Hey, if he comes back and does it, I'll be a man of my word. I shaved that god-awful mustache, so I'll keep to it.
I mean, where does he fit right now?
Wherever he wants. He's Frank Kaminsky, all right?
All right. Well, in reality world, where does he fit right now? How much playing time can he possibly get with JaVale and Bismack and DA? I know you're going to have to try and put him at the 4, I guess, or maybe put him at the 5 and DA at the 4 from time to time. Like, it's just, I feel like they have too many big men now. You got to play DA more. Like, you just have to, especially as you get closer to the playoffs. So you can't sacrifice his minutes.
Fabio said point Kaminsky, and I'm all for it.
But look, I know that's sarcastic, but one of the things he can do better than the big men on this roster right now is dish the rock. He can play that Dario, position that was so critical at times last year to get other guys involved. I don't think it'll be major minutes. It'll be very spot minutes, but you may see him get some of those, especially if they're just trying to figure out what they have down this stretch run, because they pretty much have the number 1 spot locked up. It would take an ASU level collapse for them to lose that first spot. So.
Yeah, he just brings a different type of play to this team in certain situations where you need that. Brittany and Senator Dunks in the chat said he could also potentially take maybe some of Torrey Craig's minutes or back him up if he's not hitting shots. I wouldn't be mad about seeing a little bit of Frank there either.
The thing with Torrey Craig is he gives you defensive versatility. That's why you see him come in end-of-game situations when the other team is desperate for a three. Torrey Craig gives you that flexibility. Frank Kaminsky gives you zero defensive flexibility. So that's Torrey Craig's strength is not Frank's weakness, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Or it is Frank's weakness. So that's not really a one-for-one substitute, really.
But it also could help in a pinch when you need some offensive firepower. Frank can go out there and knock down some shots. He's the better perimeter shooter of the big men on this team.
Yeah, and it gives you depth, which we learned last postseason you can't have too much of, right? And so it's another option that you have that will be available for the stretch run in the playoffs. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, you don't want to have to go to them in the finals like you had to last year, but there's opportunities that'll come up in the playoffs that maybe hits one or two big shots and it shifts the series. If you have to go deep in your bench, nothing wrong with having that guy.
Better to have a full squad than not, just in case, like we've said before, break glass in case of emergency. If you ever had to tap in, at least you have the ability to tap in.
Yep.
We'll see exactly how Monty chooses to use Frank later on down the line when he does get back into action. Until then, that's your update on Frank Kaminsky. Now, James did not really give any updates on Chris Paul other than saying that everything is going well with his recovery and they haven't had any major setbacks. So while that's not like a groundbreaking update, it is a positive update, though, that at least there haven't been any setbacks that they're willing to at least share with us that they're aware of that might push this even farther back, return date for him.
You think if there were setbacks that James Jones would go on a radio appearance and go, well, I'm here to tell everybody Chris Paul screwed that thumb up even more, and we're not hopeful for that first round.
I'm not saying that he would come out and say that, but I don't think he would say the opposite either. I think he would just be like, Chris Paul's still figuring it out.
We have no updates.
Yeah,
I think that's
it would
fair,
be more of that type of a situation.
It's a day-by-day basis. We're just taking it one day at a time. Blah, 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 blah.
Cliche world. Yeah. No, look, Chris Paul's going to come back either that last game or two of the regular season or for that first round series, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He gets the rest. He can still work on his conditioning because it's just the hand, and Chris Paul knows how to dribble the basketball and shoot. He'll be fine once he gets cleared to use that hand.
All right, guys, I have a question for you. Now that Devin is back, I would assume that Landry Shamet is moving into that second unit again. This is the first time I think Cam Payne and Devin Booker are playing in the starting unit, or at least starting together, for a really long time now. I think back in last year's playoffs, right?
Someone in the chat said Western Conference Finals.
There you go. Western Conference Finals. How do you think it's going to play out?
Again, what Espo said a little earlier, it all depends on how Devin Booker comes into this and understands his role. It sounds weird to say Devin Booker needs to understand his role because he's the best player on the team, but even the star players need to understand where the strengths and weaknesses are, and more importantly, you got to let the game come to you. And you don't want to see Devin try to make up for the last three games in one game, especially in the first quarter. So you need to let this thing just kind of ride out, let Devin get into a flow. He was in such a great rhythm before he got COVID. And so I think if he's going to come into this game and listen, Cam Payne has done an admirable job at point in his absence. He's done a very, very good job. I expect that to continue. And in theory, his numbers should only go up because now you're passing to one of the best scorers in the NBA.
I actually think it helps him offensively, too, because it takes some of the focus of the defense off of you in that backcourt. You can now play off the ball or on the ball with Devin back. Hopefully it gives him a little bit more freedom offensively to do what he does best.
He's probably not as worried about getting his teammates involved, take that pressure off of him a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully it's helpful. What I'm interested to see more so, though, is how does Landry Shamet react to going back to the bench, fewer minutes, less shots in all likelihood, although with that depleted second.
All off.
I think he still has a good game. I think he's still going to hit those threes.
We thought, you know what, Shamet in the starting lineup, that was the key to success. Look how well he's playing, folks.
Okay.
Let's go.
He will
Dramatic much. Literally no one said that. We're just happy that he has turned a corner and is making shots.
That is how I chose to interpret that.
Okay.
Look, he's
drama.
He's turned back into the shooter that he had been for his career. 38% that'd be nice. Percent shooter from beyond the arc, and I think that's what we can expect the rest of the way. You've seen his confidence shift. You can visually see it over the last week, where there was a couple games where you could just start to go, oh, that's the guy I think that James Jones assumed he was getting. I think it'll carry over. He's out of his head. He's shooting in a rhythm. I think he'll continue on the bench. I'm not saying he's going to average 17 points a game, but I think he's going to hit, a good percentage from beyond the arc and get you a handful of threes each game.
If Landry Shamet dropped 30 points tonight, what would be more surprising to you? Landry Shamet dropping 30 points or the way ASU lost today?
Landry Shamet dropping 30 points.
Okay.
You know what would be surprising? Your lack of flowers for Landry Shamet if he dropped 30 points in the post-game show.
Yeah, I heard last night. I know I was not here. I was out due to sinus. But
I gave him some flowers.
Yeah, that was reluctant.
They were dead flowers.
You were
like,
flowers. You're like, here's that bouquet that's been sitting out on the porch since July.
They were Walmart
Enjoy.
flowers. I concur. I agree.
I feel like that's shade at Walmart, and that's saying something.
Here are your plastic flowers from Michaels. Enjoy.
Phoenix Suns 22 has asked twice, can Ayton play like this when CP3 and Book come back? What do you guys think?
He doesn't have to play like he has offensively because he has to carry them offensively right now. What I think you'll see is him be a little bit more aggressive with his shot because now he's in that rhythm. He's hitting mid-range. He's hitting that jump hook, and he'll get easier baskets around the hoop when you have CP3 back and hopefully with Devin back as well. But you're not going to need him to be that. Hopefully what he does is gets those easy buckets that come to him, returns to being the defensive stalwart on the team, and rebounds like he did last night because they need the boards more than anything from him.
I'll continue to go to this well until I see it in the playoffs. But last year in the playoffs, in the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks, when things were falling apart, when Devin Booker wasn't hitting quite the way he needed to hit, CP3 was kind of a disaster in games 5 and 6. You needed that third guy, and that third guy was completely missing. They tried desperately for different guys to step up. None of them stepped up. DA needed to be that guy, and all season long last year I kept saying they need to continue to feed DA to get his confidence up, to get him in a good rhythm, so that way when they get to a situation in the playoffs, they can rely on that third scorer as a bailout. And I feel like that's where the Suns are right now. I know Cam Johnson and Mikal have stepped up their scoring, so that helps. That helps alleviate some of that third man, scoring drought. But DA is going to be the puzzle piece that gets the Suns a championship, to be honest with you. If he plays at a high level in the playoffs, which he did last year, but also adds some kind of go-to moves offensively in the playoffs, something that you can rely on just about every single time, then you're there. Then you have every single piece that you need. You have perimeter shooting, you have scoring, you have slashing, you have inside play, outside play, you have the whole 9 yards. So that's what I'm looking forward to for DA. He's shown the ability to be able to do that. This is a good opportunity for him to do that without all the other stars on the court. And I hope that just spurs him forward.
I think it's going to wind up being pick your poison. I think it's going to be Cam on some nights, DA on other nights when you get to the playoffs, because defenses are going to have to choose where they focus, and I think it'll vacillate. But I think you're 100% right. You need the DA that you saw in the playoffs last year if you're going to win a title.
Thankfully, though, both of them have proved that they can do it.
Yep.
So it's kind of a pick your poison with this team right now, and we couldn't be in a much better spot heading into what is going to hopefully be a long playoff run.
Hopefully.
Knock on wood. I don't know. All right, let's take a look at what our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app think about tonight's game. Espo, break this one down for us.
They have the Miami Heat as a 3.5-point favorite, and I am taking the Suns and the points. Any chance that you get an opportunity to get the Suns with points, I'm going to jump on it. I like their chances to if not win, be within 3 tonight.
What do you guys think about tonight's game? Let's get into our picks and break it down why we decided to choose these.
Well, I did not go with the Suns. I'm sure we'll pull up the graphic here soon in terms of our picks. But I have the Suns I have the Heat by 1. I just feel like it's going to be a really, really close game. And Miami, for whatever reason, matches up pretty well with the Suns. So defensively, if the Suns could come out and do what they need to do, I expect them to win. But in this instance, I'm going to give the slightest of edges to the Heat.
I'm on just the other side of the fence here. I think it's going to be Suns by 1 here. I think there's just enough motivation here to get them over the hump tonight, and they will win by 1.
I got Suns by 3, mostly because I feel like having Devin back I'm hopeful that it'll be an additional spark of energy for this team. Obviously, they came out on Sunday with a ton of energy and a lot of effort in that Bucks matchup. They won last night. Now having Devin Booker back, probably, I'm hopeful that they don't just think, oh, well, Book's back, we can kind of let our foot off the gas a little bit. I'm hopeful that it'll be like, okay, Book's back, let's push this thing even further.
Yeah, it is tough because it's the second night of a back-to-back, but
Right.
I like the chances here. Gerald has the Miami Heat by 1944. Any guesses why?
Man, I've really struggled with this one. I'm not so sure about 1944. Is that the year Miami officially became a city in Florida?
No, it's the pounds of cocaine. No, I'm just kidding. It is.
So we really went there on this show then.
1944 is the year that suntan lotion was invented in Miami. So
Really?
that is what the interwebs have told me. I did not fact check them immensely, but that was what I was told.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's not a
1944.
bad one. I also think just overall, like I know we mentioned this off the top, but I feel like the Suns are a little angry. They're definitely a kind of a petty team in the sense of like, you burn me once, I'm going to remember it forever, and I'm going to find a way to get my revenge. So that's why I have the Suns up just a little bit. But I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game. This one's probably going to have us on the edge of our seats all the way until the final buzzer.
Yeah, I think this is a remove any doubt kind of game. They know Miami's the number 1 seed in the East. You can come out and say, look, you can all talk what you want, but when it comes to right now, we own the throne because the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA. Suck it, Miami.
Jesus.
Well, Mike V has the Suns by 7. Sunder's Dunks has Suns by 5. Fabio, Suns by 10. I like the optimism, guys. I really do. I'm hopeful that we'll see a lot of that here tonight. Hopefully, we are all proven wrong, and it is a much larger margin of victory here for the Suns in this matchup.
By the way, you and I have some beef here because
Why?
cool, colorful glasses are my thing, and you brought this crap to the set tonight.
Just step up
We
your game,
go out to the
Espo.
beautiful Ainsworth,
Step
and
up
you
your
gotta
game,
show up and
Espo.
show off while I'm out here rocking the colorful glasses. I see how it is. By the way, if you want to come out here, the Ainsworth, a fantastic venue to watch the game.
Yeah.
Got it on all the TVs out here. You can be here with us all night and for the post-game show that we'll be doing live from here. It's literally right across the street from the arena. So come on out. Hang out with us, get some drinks. They got some specials on, I believe, 4 Peaks tonight, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, people are starting to file in. The game starts here in about 10 minutes, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. So if you can, come on down, join us. Even if it takes you until halftime to get here, it'll still be worth it, we promise. Come hang out with us again, the Ainsworth in downtown
Espo
Phoenix.
should get a beanie now.
If I can find one down here before the post-game show, I'll be
That
rocking one.
laugh. Lindsey has been on one today. She has been like wanting to fight everybody.
Just a little bit.
Do it. Put on a beanie.
Oh, if I can find a beanie, I'll put it on.
my
It's
God,
on now.
yes.
I'll go.
I wanna see
I'll go
it.
to the Army surplus store and get the jacket. I'll rock
You know
everything.
there's other places to get a beanie, right?
No, he's
No, I
making
said the
fun of me because
jacket.
I wore this jacket last week. Also, if you saw me wear this jacket last week, no, you didn't. And somebody called it like an army jacket and was like, "What'd you go to the Army surplus store to get that jacket?"
When's the last time you drove by an Army surplus store?
In Sierra Vista.
1944, I believe.
Only in Sierra Vista.
Yeah,
It's the only
by
place
Fort
I've ever seen
Huachuca.
one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Actually, it's like a thrift store down there. So like it's all donated secondhand stuff that you can pick up. There's some dope stuff in there. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'll go to Saul's closet and get some Army
You can have all that shit. I don't want
There
it.
you go.
We're good.
One of my favorite shirts. I have an old school Boy Scouts button up. It is one of my favorite shirts ever. It's like that cool army green. One time I wore it to Trader Joe's and some guy got really mad at me. He's like, "There's no way you were in the Boy Scouts." I was like, "Yes, I was. Scouts honor." He was like, and he got all
I used to
flustered
have a
and went-
penis. Did you not know that?
That's not what I was going with that one. But okay.
You have to be a boy to be in Boy Scouts.
I swear, every single time I say something, you always take it so far.
But it's true. You have to, like, if you were going to say that, that's what confused the guy. He was like, what?
I believe they
No,
actually
I
checked
think
back in the day too. So.
I'm pretty sure you can join Boy Scouts as a girl now,
Well,
can't you?
not back in the day when we would have been.
No,
in
I
that.
feel like they
I think
changed
you
that
can,
recently.
I think you can
Yeah?
now. Yes.
Okay, Jacob is saying
now,
yes now.
Yeah.
Now you can,
But
but
not
back
when you would have
when-
been eligible.
But I wore it as an adult like 3 years ago.
Well,
I
that's
know.
even creepier. You were in the Boy Scouts as an adult.
No, you guys, God, you ruin everything. I swear.
That's the quote of the year right there. You ruin everything. Yes.
Which is the truth.
This is true.
I mean, I don't deny it.
Yeah.
God, can we not be grown-ups for 5 minutes?
No. When was it? I do not have it in my contract that it says I have to be a grown up at any point.
He literally
That's in my marriage
he
contract.
literally sang a
but
Toys R Us song.
I know. I don't know what I was expecting.
I don't want to grow. No, I'm not doing
No,
that
we're not
live.
doing that
no.
shit again. No.
Okay, well, we've got about 3 minutes until this game tips off.
Let's go.
What do you guys want to talk about in those 3 minutes? Or do you want to just say goodbye?
I thought you had a topic we were going to talk
No,
about.
no,
We were
that's
gonna talk about
post-game.
post-game.
That's
Okay.
post-game.
Oh, we got a juicy
We
one
need
for
more
post-game.
than we need more than 3 minutes to break that
Yeah,
one
I need
we
more
down.
need
than
way
3
more
shots
than
to talk
3
about that
minutes.
one too, by the way. So
What's your favorite drink? We're out here at a bar. What's like if you could have any drink?
Ooh.
Lindsey, I know you have an allergy, but if you could have any drink, what would you go with?
You go first. It's been a minute, so I have to think.
My usual go-to is an old fashioned.
Okay.
But I like the ones that are smoked, with the
Bougie?
wood chips.
You like bougie drinks?
Of course. Did you expect anything
Shocking.
else? Also, by the way, there's a rumor that there's going to be like a new. Have you ever heard of Sugar Factory?
No, I don't think so.
So it's like a restaurant that's like built on confections and desserts, but they have like really cool drinks that are like kind of souped up, kind of the fish tank
works?
kind of things. Yeah, and I heard there's going to be one opening. I haven't officially heard that or can confirm that, but I know it's coming. I would like to dabble in something like that.
You and I can go. Definitely. That sounds like my kind of. I'm a White Russian guy. All right. Which are you allowed to say that now? I don't know. Like,
don't think you
I don't mean like.
That's why I immediately
that's the name of the
Why?
drink. I'm so.
Why?
That's what I drink.
Again, grown-ups. What are those?
It's an adult chocolate milk, basically. All right. You want me to call her a white American now? Like, I
should probably change that name.
My go-to back in the day, like tequila was one of my favorites. I always liked a really good top shelf tequila because it was easy to sip on, and that's just
straight
kind
up?
of my go-to. Yeah.
Damn.
Are you surprised that she has the most gangster drink out of us?
I mean,
If it's a top shelf tequila, it's super smooth.
Different, yes.
We're not talking about
But
tequila here.
you said back in the day, and I assumed you were a poor college student.
I was,
not
but I was
getting
also
the mezcal
but the
off the
thing
top
is,
shelf.
I worked in the industry, so we were drinking top shelf for free,
okay.
and we had friends at all the bars in Old Town and on Mill, so it was a whole nother
Everybody's getting on
ballgame.
you, Espo.
I didn't mean it as a joke. That's literally my
Everybody's getting
favorite
on you.
drink. I didn't mean it as some bad joke. It's my
I can't
favorite
see
drink.
some of the comments. Can I see some of the comments, Jacob?
No,
Yo,
please don't.
Phoenix
There we go.
Suns 22 said Lindsey seems like a White Claw type. I don't
Yeah.
even know what that means, but I think I take offense to it.
You should.
You don't seem like a White Claw type. You're not
No.
really basic.
No.
What's a Paloma? Sunder's Dunks. I thought she
Oh,
was
it's
going
like
to say
a grapefruit with tequila kind of drink. It's
Paloma. Oh, isn't
really
that a tequila
delicious.
sunrise? Isn't that grapefruit?
Roughly based on that.
Okay. I mean, those are good, but they're sweet because they've got grenadine in them too, don't they?
I highly regret asking this question now.
I mean,
I highly regret it. It is my favorite drink, and I don't know what to call it
Well,
anymore.
hey, how about this? How about we're going to have a good time? We're going to watch the game here in a second. We're going to have a few drinks, not what he had or wants. And yeah, if you have time to come down and join us.
okay, bye.
Ahoy, hoy.